What are the top 15 ways that you can actually follow up with your leads, whether they are buyers or sellers, utilizing the stacking effect? On top of that, how can you use that to go with multiple mediums that are out there in order to communicate with your clients? The first things that you need to do, you need to call them. We talked about that for 8 times. Text, video text, email drip campaigns. If you don't have those set up, go into your CRM and you need to set up those email drip campaigns. My drip campaigns, I have multiple ones. Some of them are set for just about a week. Some are set for over a year in order to determine where they're at. Their incubation time for that lead, incubation meaning their readiness, whether transact now or later, might be 10 months. It might be a year. You'll find that out by a little bit of their response times, if anything. If you're not realizing them in about a week or so, they're probably needing to get put on that year drip campaign, and then you'll keep following up with them for about 2 to 3 weeks here, and then obviously you can go from there. I also send leads market updates. I would get into the habit regularly of recording a market update. So that's going to be going into your MLS and actually letting people know for specific towns or even your county, wherever you're at, how many sales are occurring and what that means for them. Is that way more than last month? Was it way more than last year? What are your predictions going forward? That way customers can actually understand where's the market moving. Is it good? Is it not? Don't use words like, oh, this is good. Say, we've got home buyers that are buying far more homes than they used to, which we're seeing as an increase in demand for whatever reason that is, or a decrease in demand, or there's an increase in whatever, supply or something. The next, what you're going to talk about is, again, that word supply. We're going to talk about that as inventory or available homes that a home buyer could purchase, available on the market right now if they wanted to, and talk about what that means for people. Well, if they wanted to, there'd be a number of homes and a good selection for them, or there's not really a good selection that's out there, and it's actually a great time to sell your property because you can command a better price. Also talk to them about how long homes are taking to sell. So that's the days on market it would be in order for them to realize a sale. And then talk to them a little bit more about the actual sale prices and where they're going. Are they stabilizing? Do you see them increasing? Do you suspect that they're going to continue to increase over the next couple of months? Utilizing that, that's a monthly update that people can see. Some people will even take my advice and do it weekly. And that way, if a lead reaches out during that week, you'll say, hey, here's my weekly update as to what's happening in the Hartford County marketplace. Let me just text that over to you. I typically save that onto my desktop. It's easy. So that way I've actually got that as part of my drip campaigns as well. So that way, if somebody reaches out, they instantly get this market update, and they're seeing not only that, they're seeing my face. So they're like, oh, okay, I get who this person is, how they're responding a little bit, and gets a little bit more of my personality. One of the other things that you can do in order to follow up is to send this to buyer leads about why they should or should not live in a particular area. I'll be really honest, I live in a town called Simsbury, Connecticut, and so I'll put out videos as to why you should or should not live in a particular town. I love my town. It's got a lot of great things to it, but if someone wants to live in my town, they should also be aware it's kind of hard to get to, and the commute times can be a little longer. And although you get bigger yard sizes, if you don't want to maintain a yard that's big, then probably go live in another town with a little bit smaller lot sizes that might be a little bit closer to the capital. So giving examples around that are really helpful, because if you start to record videos once a week about each and every town, pretty soon after about a year, you're going to have around 50 towns around you and why you should or shouldn't live there. It doesn't have to be overly produced. It can just be something pretty easy, selfie wise. You can just say, hey, listen, I'm here in Simsbury, Connecticut. Here's some great reasons that you should live here. Here's some things that you should be mindful if you don't live here. Where are some attraction points? What can you get for certain price points? All of those are great ideas in order to give a why you should or shouldn't live in a particular area. Another great resource that's out there is HomeBot. HomeBot is a program that I personally recommend to a lot of real estate agents. It's going to be a great tool for you to use. It's only about $25 a month. You can also partner with a lender in order to subsidize the cost if you want to use some of the buyer features that are out there. But I use this feature for sellers. This particularly is attractive to them because they're able to log in and then they're able to find out what their home's value is. I have a great script for you. All you need to do is send that out and you can say, hey, was this a little higher or lower than what you expected? It doesn't matter whatever the automated valuation module indicates it's worth. If it's worth, it says that it's worth $300,000, but you know that the property might be worth $400,000, they're going to tell you it's a little lower than what we expected or a lot lower than what. Fine, it doesn't matter. The whole point is you want to get them talking with you, not out of just here, take a look. They're going to say, wow, this is highly inaccurate. Why would you send me this? You want to say, was this higher or lower than what you expected? Because you want them to have an interaction with you. Once they start having an interaction with you, you can simply say, great, what are some of the updates that you've done over the past few years? Let me add that into the background, and this software gives you that ability to really log in, note some updates that have been there, and actually reset the valuation there, and it's gonna track with the MLS in the market. If the market increases in that town 2%, they'll increase the value of that, again, 2%. You can also see the seller continuing to log in there and look at their property's value, and it's gonna give you a lot more options for them to interact with you. So it's a great resource that you can send sellers so that while they're looking in the background, they can see. I would also highly recommend for sellers that you do a market search around in their town or around in their neighborhood. So I'd log into the MLS and I would search for a particular neighborhood. I look for the active, closed, pending listings that are there, and I'd set the market update to go to them, be delivered to them from the MLS every 30 days, depending on their incubation time frame. If they're looking at something a little bit sooner, hey, we want to move within the next 15 or 20 days, you're probably not going to set it to that rate. You might send it weekly. But if they're saying, hey, we're considering a move, you might want to set it to monthly. That way they're going to get a monthly update, and it's a great reason. Now you can give them a call and talk about something of whatever you sent them. One of the biggest things I want to feature in this video is every time you call someone, it's not just a, hey, are you interested? Are you ready to go yet? It is, hi, I sent you an item of value. Hi, I sent you a handwritten note. I invited you to invent, or I sent you a video about why you should or shouldn't live in a town. Did you get a chance to look at it? It's a reason to reach out. That's what we're looking to do. So every time we accomplish one of these steps, it gives us a reason to reach back out to the client and actually develop further relationship with them, develop further empathy, and also show to them that we are the real estate agent that has not only the competency, but the skill and excellence in order to provide the best experience possible. Here's the top 14 ways that you can follow up with your buyers or sellers in order to get them to go from lead nurture into an actual client. You can call them, you can text them, video text, email drip campaigns, a market update, why to live or not live in a town, an MLS auto email, home bots, 14 ways that they can win an offer in your market, a testimonial video about why someone should work with you, a contractor list, reels or videos on home buying tips, home buyer seminars, home staging seminars, and really importantly, financial planning seminars. Use this in order to convert lead nurtures into actual clients. Many home buyers out there really understand that it can be a competitive marketplace, and their understanding of how to win an offer is not always there. Many times people feel like it's just price that wins, but it's not actually price. Price is a term that most sellers want after they're left with after the closing. What they don't understand is that there's many other terms that go into an offer in order to make it as strong as possible. I have a video that I placed on YouTube. It's the top ways that you could win an offer, and I literally go through a contract, and I know all of these different options that home buyers can utilize in order to make their offer stronger. And my commentary is basically this: I'd hate for you to go in on Monday morning and go to the water cooler, and one of your friends says, well, I just secured a house last night. And you say, well, I just got a call from my broker and they said that we didn't win. And they say, well, what did you do? And you tell them, and then they say, oh, well, we made part of our deposit non-refundable, or one of these options. And you go, I didn't even know that was a possibility. And so in that, it's a response to them, a request, hey, I would love for you just to know your options, and even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, at least you knew the options, and maybe you'll get fed up if you don't win enough offers. And so in that regards, let's figure out how we can actually win an offer next time, and you can utilize one of my 14 steps in order to win an offer. So that's a great video to record, and that way, as people are getting into the process, you might not send it immediately, but you might send it maybe after a couple of days and say, hey, hopefully you found some value in some of the other videos that I've sent you, or some of the other emails or calls or homebot, whatever it is. Here's some video that's been really helpful for a lot of our clients. Let me know which ways you already knew about or anything else that you thought was valuable in that video. It's a great way that you can interact with your clients. A testimonial video can be extremely powerful when it comes to convincing a buyer whether or not they should actually go with you, or a seller for that matter. We have a video that we've placed on Zillow as a part of our Zillow profile, and so when people are on there, they can really understand who they're dealing with. The last thing somebody wants to see is a commercial about you and why you're so great. Instead, what they want to see is, what have other people experienced? How did David listen? How did he not listen? What are we getting into with this? And so we have a video out there with one of our clients, and they're sitting there just saying, hey, listen, we were getting into this process of buying a home, and David was there and was really attentive, and he listened to us. He allowed us to see a bunch of other properties. And why is it so important? Because then people will know that David Brooke is not going to rush me. He's not going to get me into something that I don't want to. So that can be a really powerful video. You can either do that as a video, or you can actually take some of the testimonials or reviews that you've received a while ago. You can form that into a video, make that part of your email drip campaign, and just say, hey, you don't have to take our word for it. Listen to what some of our other customers have said, and give give them that assurance that this is, maybe not your first sale, but this is, you've done this many times in the past. And let's say you haven't sold any real estate before. Let's say you're like, I don't have any past clients that you can work with. Absolutely do have people within your community who they can do a video and just say, hey, they've been extremely helpful with anything regarding real estate. Hey, he was so knowledgeable about what's happening in the marketplace. Anything like that is going to be helpful for you when it comes to providing reviews so other potential customers can see you as a valuable resource and highly competent in the business. Another option that you should be considering to send to some of your clients is a contractor list. I don't know how many times I've actually won a listing by just knowing that I have contractors who are available to use. I was shocked. I thought it was, well, you're the #1 in the state, or man, you're articulate when presenting the data, or you're also a certified real estate appraiser. I had all these accolades listed and they don't care. They just don't care. What they cared about was, Grandma's house is actually full of a bunch of her stuff. We want like 5 items and we don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know, should I call a 1-800 service to get it cleaned out? Are they gonna damage the property? I just don't know what to do next. And I was able to sit with them and say, hey, listen, from start to finish here, does the estate have any money? They say, oh, yeah, a little bit. So we're gonna get this place cleaned out, we're gonna fix some of these repairs, and we're gonna get the best that we absolutely can for Grandma's estate. And they look at you like, well, how are we gonna start that? And you're gonna say, no problem, I'm the quarterback here. I'm gonna get this all done for you. I've got all the contractors already lined up. They look at you like as if you just provided them a check for $1 million. They're like, are you serious? Absolutely, no problem. Let me provide our contractor list to you. And in fact, I can send a couple of connecting text messages or emails. They're like, the listing's yours, take it. Like, yeah, what about the price? They're like, listen, the other guy said they could get a little bit more money, but honestly, we just can't handle this. We've got people in other parts of the country. There's a lot of brothers and sisters involved. Can you just handle this for, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Okay, here's it is. It's 6%, sign the listing, right? And they're like, okay, great. So a contractor list can be one of the best things that you can use for lead follow-up. Now, what I want you to do is if you haven't developed a contractor list, go on to social media, a couple of town websites that are out there, and start forming for yourself. Look at the areas around yourself. You can form it by town, you can form it by county, you can form it by the state. Some of the best either HVAC, plumbers, electricians. You can also start to add in some people who you might not think would be a part of your real estate category. Start adding in accountants and financial planners, because they're gonna all pool together, because people are gonna say, hey, listen, I'm selling my house. Do you have a good accountant for the estate? Or I need a good accountant when it comes to doing my taxes. Now that I've sold this property, I think I've got some capital gains coming our way. So that's a really good resource that you can be that go-to, that hub for everybody. And you can also start to really delve into your business to business lead generation. Let me dive into this. I'm gonna go down a rabbit trail for a second here. When you're reaching out and forming this contractor list, you're actually reaching out first in a lead generation model. You're gonna reach out to the accountant and say, listen, I got a lot of clients who are potentially looking at working with an accountant once they sell because they've got capital gains. They're not really sure. It's a great way that I can introduce. Are you accepting any new clients? They're like, absolutely. And you're like, well, listen, I also wanna offer you this. From time to time, I'm sure that you're gonna speak with some people who are considering selling their property, not sure what it's worth, and you're kind of working on the capital gains, you're working on from the other way. Do you mind, you can happy to reach out to me and I'll provide valuation for you, free of charge, #1, and no obligation for them to utilize anyway. This accountant's probably gonna be blown away. They've never seen a real estate agent actually work with such contribution. So if you start from that position, I believe that you're gonna find real success with individuals as they're looking for contractors. And you can actually develop this list and start to really build it out. We've got a contractors list that probably has 50 contractors on it. So if somebody's looking for a bookkeeper or if someone's looking for a beekeeper, we have someone who's on that list, and it's really a great resource for people who are out there, not only in the contractor field, but also for our clients. I referred to this earlier in the class, but reels and videos about home buying tips or home selling tips can be extremely helpful. If not just even talking about the real estate industry or your investment into your own learning or experiences with clients or even showing off homes, it's gonna be extremely helpful. I know people say all the time, I don't like how I look on camera. I don't like how I sound. Look, I don't either, and I'm doing classes here. I'm doing this to educate real estate agents out there, and you need to be of the mind frame that you're educating your clients, not only about what you do, but how you do it. And so this can be one of the best benefits, how you can actually retain customers. So let's think of it this way. If you call someone that shows up on their cell phone, if you call them about something that you sent, that's also very helpful. But some people need to be captured at a time when, maybe they're available later on in the evening or early morning, and you'd love to grab their attention then. And we had talked about building up some of that real estate space. So when they think about real estate, they also think about you. Think about it this way. If you're on social media and they followed you, they're gonna see you probably at the same time that they're looking at their phone. They're online, maybe it's early in the morning, they woke up, it's 6 o'clock, they're like, oh man, I'm gonna pop on Zillow, I wish I could find a house, see if anything new came on. They don't find anything. They swipe out and they actually go to Instagram and they're looking at Reels and there you are. Well, they do that day after day after day, and pretty soon they're like, man, this guy's got some really good material about home buying. And they hop over and they start looking at your website. Man, this guy's been emailing me. All right, fine, I'm gonna email him back. That happens all of the time. So what I cannot encourage you enough to do, it's not about just jumping up there and going with trending sounds and poke everywhere. It's not about that. It's about providing actual good content that's out there. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be present. The video that I actually created that's a little bit imperfect is far better than the perfect video that you never released. And so I can't encourage you enough, start putting out that content in a way where everybody's eyeballs are. People consider, social media is not for me. That's like saying, you know what, I don't wanna advertise where all the eyeballs are. 98% of home buyers are on Zillow or Realtor.com or one of the realty portals out there. It'd be silly not to actually have your face out there in an advertisement. In fact, you're trying to be a secret agent. And the same way for those people who do not understand social media, don't realize that all of their clients, if they're not on that realty portal, they might not have the opportunity to see your face. In fact, they might be seeing someone else's face, one of your competitors' faces. But if they're on social media and they've actually followed you, now they're seeing you all the time. So how do you do that? One of the best ways that we've actually developed is to actually create some educational videos around their home buying process and the home selling process. And then during that, we're actually texting our clients some of these updates. We're not just saying, hey, are you interested in this home? We're texting them, we're saying, hey, I saw this cool open floor plan in a new house that I'm listing, or my team just put this out there. Let me know what you thought about the layout. Or hey, I saw this is maybe not within your price range here, maybe it's a little lower, a little higher, but I saw it was in a neighborhood that you really liked. What are your thoughts on this? They might look at it and never reply to you via text, but they might look at it and go, follow. Sooner or later, we're seeing, wow, that person's following, and sooner or later, they start to reach out. They might not even reach out to your emails or text. They might actually DM you on Instagram or Facebook, and now all of a sudden, maybe they're watching your videos on YouTube. It's a great way to utilize this stacking idea and sort of come at it from a multi-channel marketing perspective, where they're now seeing your information on all of these different platforms. Okay, these last few ways in order to interact with customers I'm gonna give you, these are home buyer seminars, home staging seminars for sellers, and also financial planning seminars, which could work for home sellers or home buyers at the same time. Okay, let's get into the seminars. Home buying seminars. People do these in person all the time, but from what I've seen, some of them can be really well attended if you get a lot of people who are in the same incubation stage, meaning they're at that point in the process where they wanna learn more about buying a house. Maybe they have or haven't committed to a realtor, and you're able to get up in front of a group or an audience of some kind. Typically it's a smaller gathering with a lender, maybe an insurance pro, and you're talking to basically 3 people in the room, if not maybe 8 at the best. And you're talking to them about that process. Now, if you work on a team, all of the agents on the team might suggest to have a home buyer seminar where they've got all of those clients coming, and maybe your broker or your team leader does the actual presentation, but those might not be for you. And so in this case, one of the recommendations I can have is, if you want to go with the in-person, great, go with it, but one of the cheaper ways to do it, and honestly a really great resource, is to actually do a webinar. And in the webinar, you're starting the webinar and you're saying, hey guys, we're just gonna let a few people scroll in here, and you go through the whole process. Maybe you have your lender, your insurance pro, you can make it 30 minutes or less to talk through the home buying process, really give some good information, and just tell people, hey, thanks so much for joining. We're gonna answer all the questions at the end, but please put your questions in the chat. And then you might not be able to get to the questions because it's gonna be pre-recorded, but in those video platforms, or webinar platforms, you're gonna be able to see all the questions that actually showed up in the back end, and you're gonna be able to reach out to the lead. Hey, sorry we didn't get to the questions at the end. Saw you reached out during the webinar, and you can actually advertise these webinars to be ongoing, maybe every Tuesday at 7 o'clock at night and every Friday morning. That way you can get people who are available in the morning or on the weekends or whenever it is. People can log on directly from their home, watch this webinar from you going through the home buying process. You can also do this for home staging. Let me give you the home staging tips. We use this program called Wine and Design. It's a lot of fun. People get into a room and these are much better attended. Why? Because people will love to learn about current home trends. It's why we watch HGTV and all of the shows online. We love seeing inside people's homes, but we also love learning about the best tips and tricks on how to make our homes look great. So what we do is we actually partner with a stager, home interior designer, and we talk through what are some of the top colors that are happening, what trends are fading out, what metals are starting to come into focus or out of focus when it comes to fixtures in a home for curtains, drapes, rods, all of that. And so we start to talk through those items, and we might have a painter or a contractor there who gives a deal on, hey, if you use us and sign up today, then we're gonna give you $300 off of a painting job. We also have an insurance pro out there who might give a little bit of benefit to the realtor or sponsor the event to have these people here, and they can kind of save money on your home insurance, and maybe you'll save 50 bucks a month, which is $600 a year, which is the cost to paint that new room. So that's one of the ways that we can encourage people to come. Well, you can do that for neighborhoods. You can do that for niche groups like a church. You can do that for past clients or current clients. They're really well attended. On top of that, you might bring in a local wine supplier or a bottle shop, and they can come in and feature a couple of bottles. And you might want to do it at your office, but even a better opportunity is to do it inside someone's home. It used to be where you'd have these Tupperware parties and people would all come over, and they're going to pressure you at the end in order to buy some Tupperware. But they wanted to do that there. They knew that people would come over for a night out and just to have some wine. This is a great way where it's completely low pressure to no pressure, and someone gets to go there, learn a little bit more about some of the current home trends, and they see you there as the resource who's connecting it all together. You can also offer there, here, let me connect you with my HomeBot service, or let me send you an email about what's happening in the area, and you continue to follow up with them with these 15 steps. So what about the financial planning seminar? This is one of the best tools that you can use. Why? Because there's certain points in the year where people they start to clue in about their finances. It's right in the beginning of the year because they make these New Year's resolutions. They're like, this year we're gonna be good with money. We're gonna save. We're gonna put away stuff. Or this year we're gonna buy a house. And that's a great time. Or around April when people have to pay taxes. Oh crap, I got hit with a tax bill, or I didn't save enough, or I'm behind on my taxes. I really need to get my financial gear in order here. So they think to themselves, oh man, we need some financial planners. I slam my database with great opportunities at the beginning of the year and around April. And then you could maybe towards the end of the year, because maybe people are kind of getting to a little bit of debt as they head towards the holiday seasons. But this is an awesome way where you can do a pre-recorded webinar event with a financial planner, a bookkeeper, as well as an estate planner. This is like such gold. You take the estate planner who can talk about wills, because everyone says, I always need to do that. I need to get my will in order. You talk to the bookkeeper and the accountant, either one, and you say, listen, plan this way for taxes. We'd love to talk with you about that. Here's some cool tips and tricks about things you can write off, things that you might not know about, your dependents or some tax savings or whatever it is. And then you get the actual financial planner say, listen, there's no better time to get your will set up or for you to start planning for your taxes. And you might save some money in taxes. Why don't we take that money and put it to work? And here's a couple of ways that we were actually able to help people realize their goals with a financial planning seminar. Well, in the same exact way that we did this for home buying or for home staging, you can do the exact same for the financial planning. You could do it in person, but you can also do it online as a webinar. And people can log in, and you can put this as an evergreen event so people can constantly log in, and they're going to have that opportunity to reach out and ask questions as well. Well, here's the benefit. You can send those people as connections and potential leads for your real estate partners, your financial planner or accountant, etc. And now they're like, wow, they're benefiting my business. When people are in that home search process, or should we sell our home, Mr. Financial Planner? Or how do we do with taxes, Miss Accountant? What should we do here? That's a great opportunity for them to refer back to you. So it creates a nice sort of cohesiveness and synergy in between the business to business, the lead generation, along with the lead follow-up. So hopefully these are 15 helpful tips in order for you to take people in the lead nurture process and actually turn them into hot prospects and eventually clients. I'm so happy you've been able to watch this video and appreciate this class. Hey, if that was a helpful video, keep watching for more content that I produce every single week about how to accelerate your career as a real estate agent or how to grow a profitable real estate team.